What's going on, guys? And welcome back to Footy with an Edge. I'm finally recovered-ish. Welcome to the Tottenham preview. I have just made a video about Ruben Amorim, so if you guys want to go check that out, it is pretty interesting. Somebody said I am one of those people that doesn't like to admit when I'm wrong. Well, to them, I say checkmate. And honestly, just give me 1 second. All right, classic, guys. We have the wife screaming when I'm live. She better watch out, is all I'm saying. She doesn't watch the stream, guys. Anyways, we're talking about the Tottenham preview, and Spurs are fourth in the Champions League table. Fourth. But they are 14th in the Premier League table. They have no wins in the last 6 Premier League games. And honestly, let me just pull up their fixture list, right? There we go. So in the last 2 Premier League games, they have draws against City and Burnley, both 2-2. Let me just zoom this in a bit. There we go. And if we go back to the previous page, we got 2-0 win against Dortmund in the Champions League, but a loss to West Ham 2-1, a loss to Aston Villa 2-1 in the FA Cup, 3-2 loss to Bournemouth in the Premier League, 1-1 draw against Sunderland, and 0-0 draw against Brentford. So, I mean, the last time they beat anybody was Crystal Palace on December 28th, 2025. So essentially, Thomas Frank has no wins in the Premier League in 2026, right? This guy is begging for the sack. If I've seen any manager begging for the sack, even before that, it wasn't great, right? Because you're looking at Forest 3-0, you're looking at Liverpool 2-1. Like, he is hanging on by a thread. And honestly, this is his first season, so maybe he gets a bit more time, especially because the Champions League, he's doing decently well. So the question is, how are we going to perform against one of the strangest Tottenham sides in recent history? Because they're somehow overachieving in European competition, despite being, what's the technical term, dog shit in the Premier League. And they have a manager under serious pressure. So, I mean, it's got disappointment written all over it, right? Because the players have shown us that they can just go drop a stinker at a time where we're expected to win, at a time where we've gone 3 games in a row doing things that nobody expected us to do, right? Because City was, how much are we gonna get spanked by? And then we put in an amazing performance against them. Then we go against Arsenal at the Emirates, who hadn't lost before they played us at their home ground this season in the Premier League. And we went and spanked them too. Okay, we had some worldies to help us through the way, but hey, that's football, right? Just ask Aston Villa. And then everyone was saying Fulham is the real test, right? We've turned it up against these 2 teams before. So playing against a low block, that's going to be the real test. And guess what? We dispatched Fulham as well. Now, Tottenham are, 14th in the table, and Thomas Frank is known to be a, let's say, low block / mid block type of manager from his Brentford days, but he is under immense pressure to pull out a performance. Does he have more chances of winning against us if he sets up in a low block and plays crap football? Probably. But there's also a lot of expectation from the Tottenham fan base that they should be playing better football. So this is, I don't really know which way this is going to go. So this is a hard one to call, so to speak. And also, if Carrick manages to win this game, he'll do something that Ruben Amorim couldn't do in 14 months, right? Which is going to be a great achievement. And let's be honest, guys, go check out the video that I just put out an hour or 2 ago. I have talked about in detail why Ruben Amorim was not the right guy for United. And honestly, has it taken me longer than most to realize this? Maybe, but I have different reasons. It's not just I was wrong because I didn't see the tactics or anything like that. So Michael Carrick has simplified things, and simplicity is not a bad thing, right? Simplicity is good for the level of team that we have right now, for the way the league is going right now. Simplicity is the way to be. Now, can you go win a league with simplicity? I don't think so. I haven't seen evidence for it, but hey, I can be proven wrong with that as well. Either way, let's talk about the form versus reality that is impacting Spurs right now. So, if we take a look at their form, like I said, no wins in 6 league matches, and the confidence is clearly fragile. They don't really have like a distinct style of play. It's kind of like they're still trying to figure out, right, what are their strengths. Their top scorer is Richarlison. They have defensive errors creeping in all throughout the place. And their captain in Christian Romero is one of the most head loss merchants I've ever seen. And somehow they're still fourth in the UCL table. These players are finding it easier to play in the UCL, like most of the Premier League teams, and they're playing with less fear. They're playing under a different tempo, and there's also different refereeing, different risk tolerance. So midweek to weekend, this seems like two completely different teams that are you know on display. So let's take a look at their expected points, right? I always like to look to do this, look at understat and see what the expected goals and expected goals against are really telling us about the team. So I'm going to put this on screen now, and let me get my pointer here as well. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, boom. So this is the table. Like I said, Tottenham is 14th. If we look at expected points, they actually move up 2 spots in 12th because somehow Aston Villa have 46 points from 31 expected points. They are massively overperforming their expected goals against. They should have conceded about 36 goals, but they've only conceded 26, right? And that's why there are so many teams that should be higher but are actually lower. Like Leeds should actually be 3 points ahead of 3 positions ahead of Tottenham. In what is this? They're 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. Leeds should be 9th in the table right now. But because things are not going their way, because they haven't been scoring the goals that they should be scoring, just like Crystal Palace, they are actually sitting in 16th. So let's look at Tottenham, right? Tottenham have scored 35 goals from 29 XG, and they've conceded 33 goals from about 33 XG. So they are overperforming in front of goal. This is largely due to Richarlison scoring bangers only whenever he does score them. And they should be on 32.2 expected points, but they are actually on 29 points. So, okay, they are slightly underperforming where they should be. But regardless, being 12th is not good enough for Tottenham, right? Not with the investment they've had in the summer, not with them having Champions League football, and actually not with them performing so well in the Champions League while performing so poorly in the Premier League. So I look at this team and I'm confused, like I said. And let's look at United right up at the top here. We are fourth in the table and we're fourth for expected points. We are still underperforming both in front of goal and in terms of expected goals against. But this gap is slightly narrowing, right? We are only, 3 goals behind where we should be instead of being 6, 7, 8 like we were before. And we are about 4 goals over where we should be. And I'm fairly certain we should be closing that gap pretty soon. So United are clear favorites based on underlying stats, based on the actual table, based on everything. So I, I'm still worried about this game. I don't know what to tell you guys, right? If I go to the next talking point here, let's look at some more detailed numbers, right? So this is XG stat here. And let me just go to the overview. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully, you guys can see this. So, the general profile of Tottenham is they are a possession based team that opts for a low block. This is all kinds of confusing for me. They are, a little bit risk taking, but they focus a lot of their progression through the wings. And how you can be a possession based low block team is something that needs to be studied. But this is what the stats are telling us. So if we look at their attacking zones here, which is where the attacking actions are occurring, you see clearly that the wings are what they prefer, right? They do very little ball progression or, let's say, attacking actions through the middle. And so this means we have to be solid at the back, especially down the wings. For us playing the 4-2-3-1 now, that means Luke Shaw, the left center back, Dallo, the right center back, and the two DMs in front of them. Those three sets of players on either side need to be switched on to make sure that we stop the progression from the wings, or at least stay compact and just don't allow them to put in crosses, right? Crosses and cutbacks, we need to stop those from happening. This is a very clear sign for me. And in terms of their positional vulnerabilities, this is also interesting. They are weak against the left winger, which means Pedro Porro or whoever their right back is conceding a lot of goals on their side, and they're also conceding goals from the central areas, right? The camps are scoring against them, and interestingly, also the CDMs. So the central areas they are struggling against, and they're also struggling on the left hand side or their right hand side defensively. What does that mean? That means Cunha, who will probably start from the left, is going to have some, advantages. That also means Mbumo needs to attack that left hand side a lot more than any other side, and maybe Bruno can also overload that side to really cause Pedro Porro some issues. Now, let me just go back and see what the FOTMA predicted lineup says. I need to zoom out on this a little bit. Okay. So this has got them playing in a 3-4-2-1 with Archie Gray and Polinia kind of on that right hand side. Have they been playing a three at the back for the last few games? Let me just take a look here. So against City, they did line up in a three at the back. And whoops. Let me go back here. In the Champions League, they played a four at the back. Okay. Let me just take a look at their injuries now. Oh, Jet Spence is injured. Ben Davies is injured. Danso Poro's injured as well. Makes sense. Kulusevski, Madison, Bergval, Bentancur, Kudus, Richarlison. Okay, so they have a lot of players missing, which means we can expect a three at the back. This is fairly accurate. And yeah, like I said, guys, I think the expected points are telling us one story. The form in the Champions League is telling us a different story. When we take a look at the attacking options that they have, the attacking zones that they have, it's clear that they prefer to attack down the wings. And we have to be careful about the transitions, right, from open play, because they are going to be a sort of low block, deep block, mid block type of team, and they are going to exploit us on the transitions. Now, if I go back here and look at the stats of their players, right, this is also an interesting comparison. 3 out of their top 5, is this rated by XG? Yeah. 3 of their top 5 players by XG are injured. We have Richarlison, Kudus, and Porro all out for tomorrow's game, which means the key threats are going to come from Odobert, Simons, and Matisse Tell. These are the players we got to watch out for. I'm pretty sure Kolo Muani will also be starting. And if we actually look at their goals here, why is this not working? Okay. The filtering here is not working, which is great. But nonetheless, if I look at their goals, we have Richarlison scoring 7 goals from 4.7 xg. You got Tell scoring 3 goals from 1.76 xg. Van de Ven getting 4 goals from 1.99 xg. So you have a lot of xg overperformers here, which again, if you look at their games, there isn't really that much in terms of patterns, right? So I wish I could give you a lot more analysis here, guys, but I guess there's a reason why Tottenham fans want him gone, because there isn't really that much happening in terms of repeatable patterns at Tottenham. So that's about what I have, guys, in terms of the predictions for this game. In terms of our starting 11, which is kind of the last thing we need to talk about, is whether he's going to stick with the same starting 11 or he's going to put Šeško into the team. I think it makes sense for us to play with the same starting 11. I don't see a reason for us to drop Mbumo or drop Ahmad or drop Cunha. Everyone is doing well. Everyone in the team is doing well, and we're playing one game a week. I think it doesn't hurt to bring Šeško off the bench in the last 30 minutes to give us something different. When we're playing against 3 defenders, if they're playing a 3 at the back, which I think they will, I don't think we need a focal point. I think we're good having Mbumo playing between the lines, between the center backs, and just trying to pose different problems for them. The second we play Šeško, it gives Romero something to hold on to. It gives Palhinha something to hold on to. It gives Van de Ven something to hold on to. So I think we're good just sticking with the same lineup, playing the 4-2-3-1. Fairly simple. We still have De Ligt injured. We still have Mason Mount injured. And we still have Patrick Dorgu injured. So honestly, just go with the same team and hope for the best. I think I have a good feeling about this. I think this is likely to be another close game. I'm going to predict a 1-goal win, but we will concede. So that's either a 2-1 or a 3-2. I don't necessarily anticipate this to be like a 4-1 or 5-1 or 4-0 type of blowout, because we've seen this movie before. The Premier League this season is way too competitive, even against Fulham, where we could have expected us to win 2-0 or 3-0 or something like that. It's seeming to be difficult, those types of victories, right? Every team is up for it. Every team can score 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes. And we saw that against Fulham. We saw that against Tottenham in the first time we played them, right? We needed a last-minute De Ligt goal to actually come back into it and win a point. So I would be disappointed if we draw or lose, but I have a good feeling that we can win this game. And this is also at home. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident. Let's see some score predictions in the chat. And I'm going to read some of the comments as well. Let me go back here. Ash says, Man United fan mode switch back on for the weekend. Yes, sir. Jermaine Matheson says, finally, you're back. Thank you. Given Spurs have their 2 main goal threats available, long range, off target deflected shots, and Luke Shaw, we may need to score 4. Richard says we're going to win. And Rod says, no way we're going to lose. The guys are confident, including Šeško, and we're going to make our own luck if we have to. Nubis Kubis says players are clueless under Amorim. Sean says survived Amorim. Hi, Sean. How you doing? Richard says, I don't know, man, why Man United showing interest on Mickey Van de Ven. He is overrated. I disagree. I think Van de Ven is a very good center back. And his only issue for me is how injury prone he is. So for that reason, I don't necessarily want to go for him because he's going to be way too expensive. Nubis Kubis says United can only win this game if they play with intensity and don't take things for granted just because Spurs are doing bad. I agree. I think we're going to see intensity in this game. It's just a matter of taking our chances. Shaylin also says hashtag survived Amorim. And Imran says hello, Andy, and everyone. Hello. Let's see. Ash says hashtag United DNA. Peace and blessings, RJ. RJ says United 3-0. Okay. Richard says, I want to see Bruno to reach 15 assists after the Spurs game. So you want him to get 3 assists in this game? Let's go. Imran says 4-1 United. Ash says won't be a clean sheet for any team. Is Van de Ven back? He is. Shaylin says 3-0 win. Can you please do more short form videos? I'm missing those. Yes, sir. That's the plan. Already put one out today. I will try to do another one before I'm done for the day, but no promises. 3-1. We cannot get a clean sheet to save our life since you predicted a clean sheet against Bournemouth and it was 4-4. Well, to be fair, we did get a clean sheet against Manchester City, which nobody expected either. Guys, please drop a like on the stream. It would be much appreciated. And I'm also going to open up the lines. Let me just pin that message for whoever wants to come have a chat about this game, because that is the plan. Okay, I need to mute myself there. And No Man says stream started only 20 minutes ago. Damn, I'm early. Well, yeah, we do start at 2 p.m. So price tag is £100 million, 50 million is reasonable. I think he's talking about Van de Ven. And Shaylin says he just uploaded one. Yes, exactly. All right, guys, the lines are open, and let's have a chat about this game or anything else you want to talk about, preferably about this game first. Let me just also get a poll started here. Okay, poll has been started, and we'll get Shaylin on. Shaylin, how you doing?
I'm buzzing. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Super early kickoff again, dude. Like we're just being treated like,
yeah, we're getting. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it either. It's not.
This
great,
is like this is what it must be like to be like an Everton or Fulham fan, you know?
I know, but can I just be honest? Like, I hate this 1 game a week thing. Like, you know what I mean? It was like I actually kind of want to see us play. Whereas before, I felt like in the previous season we were playing way too often. Now I'm like, I want to see us play.
Bring on the mid-season friendlies, bro. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm totally like.
Let's go to Saudi Arabia. I'll watch us play in Peru, bro, on the top of a mountain. You know,
I'll watch us play in the championship if they decide to relegate us ever. But yeah, you know, I'm down. Not that it would happen. Last year, I was thinking, no, maybe we. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, never any of the 19 teams other than City are more likely to get relegated than City. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is probably true. Yeah, they could relegate Arsenal for just haram ball like that. Like that would be peak. Like, you know, they should honestly. They might want to relegate Spurs because they're a fake top 6 team in my mind. So, you know,
I don't know, man. I kind of need some of these teams to be miserable. You know, like I think the best Arsenal would be less miserable if they got relegated than they just keep finishing second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I totally get it.
I would rather they just you know stay on the edge. You know, just not win the league, and you know Arsenal. Like I was having a chat with Rishi offline about this. Like the Arsenal board are not sacking Arteta if he finishes second. If he bottles the league this year, he's staying in the job.
Wow. Really? That's actually really interesting. 100%. I would think that they would do it because the managerial market would be strong this year. I'm surprised that they have not sacked Thomas Frank yet at Spurs. Especially considering
I think it's because of their UCL spot. They're 4th in the UCL.
But doesn't this tell you so much about the difference of quality between the Champions League and then the Premier League?
You know what's interesting? It's some people have been saying how, you know, Premier League teams have been struggling because of the Premier League, the load of the Premier League games, right? There's no easy games in the Premier League. So, people kind of prioritize those, and then the Champions League is kind of deprioritized. So historically, we've seen like Premier League teams struggle to make it like super deep, right? Like bar the Man City or the Liverpool and all that. And now this season, the Premier League's become even more difficult, but somehow the same teams are like, yo, this is an easy game. Let's go, gang up on Eintracht Frankfurt or whatever other teams, except for City with Bodo Glimt, because let's be honest, tough team.
Or me in the chat goes, they kept with Wenger for 23 years or something. I'm like, I know, but that was Arsene Wenger. He actually won a few things in his time at Arsenal, and he wasn't spending nearly the amount. And even if you look at it from a ratio perspective,
wait, are you saying second place trophy isn't good enough?
I don't think so. Like, don't you think like at some point like they would want to win? Like something?
No. So here's the thing, right? This is I know this is what Arsenal board is gonna do, because the United board operated the same way for so many years, right? Because the thought process is top 4 is the minimum and be in the race for the title. And he's doing it, right? Now, at the end of the season, like, listen, Rice could get injured for the last 10 games of the season, right? Something else could happen, and he doesn't win the league. Like, I'm just saying, I think what they care about more than anything else is guaranteed Champions League. And Arteta gives them that. And to be honest, does any coach, have the divine right to win the Premier League just because you finished second like 4 times in a row or 3 times in a row? I don't really think so. So I'm not saying that's what I want to do. I would be pissed if I was an Arsenal fan.
I think the fans would be really upset too. If like
I hear you. So Rishi's here actually. So let's hear from him about this.
Hey, Shaden.
Are you like post exercise, bro? You look like you're sweating.
Yeah, yeah.
I
just
washed
already.
my face.
Oh, okay. All right. So
it is 1 a.m. So I'm kind of gassed.
Okay, fair. What's up, Ash?
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Go for it, Rishi. So Rishi's point was, I think that they don't sack him for 5-10 years, or I can't remember exactly how long he said. My point was,
I said 5 years.
You said 5 years. Okay. My point was the only way they sack him is if a Luis Enrique is available and he wants to join Arsenal, because he's clearly better than a lot of the managers that are out there. Maybe bar Pep Guardiola, I think Luis Enrique is better. So I think that's where I stand. That's where Rishi stands. What do you guys think? Ash?
Ash.
I agree partially with that statement. I think they are two coaches who are quite good, both Enrique and Guardiola. But for me, I think Enrique is a more flexible manager, because if you look at what Guardiola did at Bayern and Barcelona, or also what he's doing at City, it only happens when there's a set of players that can implement his vision. I could be oversimplifying what I'm trying to say, but the point is that he is known to throw tantrums when something doesn't work in his formation, and then they'll splurge 50-60 million on a player to fix that. Instead, Enrique, what I see with him is that he kind of works around the squad, so he will get the tactics to work, but it's to do with, let's say, it's more natural. I'll put it that way. It's with Guardiola, I feel like he had issues at Bayern, he had similar issues at Barcelona, he has the same issues at City. Rodri went missing last year and their form just tanked, so they couldn't score, they couldn't do anything. I don't see that with Enrique teams, to be honest. So I think for me, that in that sense, Enrique is a better manager from just strictly that perspective.
Also, Enrique's a lot more likable. I don't want to punch him,
Yeah. I agree.
If he
Pep with his
Arsenal, I might want to punch him.
Pep with all this nonsense.
Pep does his own punching.
Yeah. He's punching himself. Remember when he's like, I scratched myself so hard.
And the obtuse answers he gives in the press conferences. I'm surprised the reporter hasn't punched him yet.
Yeah. I think he gives competition to Lance Stroll as one of the worst people to interview after any kind of event.
Yeah. Anyways,
I digress. I guess. Yeah.
Shaylin, what is Sir Jim been saying these days?
He said we're gonna get loose, Enrique. He said because of what Ash just mentioned. He's a flexible guy. He'll work around the team. And
but you know what? I
takes,
hear Thomas Tuchel does yoga, bro. So I think he's more flexible.
Jim's not into yoga. He's not into it. He's not into it.
Who? Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah, he's not into Tom. Not into Tom Tuchel.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
Yeah,
good old
because
Tommy.
he saw that handshake moment and he says, "I don't need that." Because I had with that last guy, with Amorim, because he started blowing up afterwards. He's like, "We don't need that drama."
Yeah, but you think he'd be into 6'3" scrawny guys, being at the wheel?
Being a 6'3" scrawny guy himself? Yeah. You think so, but nah, he's not into that.
The town isn't big enough for 2 6'3" scrawny guys.
Exactly. It might add like another 5 million onto the cost of New Trafford if we have 2 6'3" guys. Like you're just gonna have to raise the
Don't you mean Old Trafford? Have you seen the tents, bro?
I know, I've seen the tents.
How they look at that and think it's a futuristic
You would have thought
design.
we'd be bought by Qatar. Just like looking at the design of the new stadium, right? Like not a British billionaire.
Yeah. Raphael says, I am downward facing dog. That's
what?
Totally relevant.
You and every other United fan, brother. We've been taking it for the last 12 or 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tottenham, guys.
Not a scary team. They're not a scary team.
But isn't that what makes them scary though?
No.
It's
I think Fulham was a harder game. That's what I would think. Yeah.
For me, they are more, just an annoying team rather than a scary team, because they have this weird knack to pull a result out of the hat when you don't expect it. Like, who expected a City draw with them? Come on. Even with how bad City have been.
Guys, I'll tell you, they're a 45-minute team. Ash, they're a 45-minute team. And when they drew with us, our problem was we were also a 45-minute team. We were a first half team and they were a second half team. Now, for whatever reason, Carrick's managed to get a consistent tune out of this bunch of players, right? We started consistently with almost, I think, 10 of the same players who started the previous game, I think, over these last 3 matches. So there is consistency, there is continuation, and there is a sort of desire from the players that has come up, right? I don't think this might be the brother who wore the t-shirt, bro. I'm not sure if this is Kobe Menu who's turned up, because where was this hustle? Where was this desire? Where was this engine in the first 20 games of the season? Even when he got, and people say, oh, Ugarte comes on and we look weak. Bro, it used to be Ugarte and Menu for the first 20 games. Whenever they came on the pitch, we looked weaker because Casemiro was the superior player, and whenever he got subbed off, it was these two who came on, and we conceded goals. So we've got this consistent tune from them. We've managed to get a coherent plan which is working for us. Now the problem is Tottenham are also, like, Frank is exactly like the game plan that Carrick has employed, right? That is Frank's wet dream. He wants to be compact and he wants to set up on the counter. He wants to have a tight mid block, low block. He wants to operate from there. Frank's issue is that he's got players that he doesn't know what the hell to do with. Right?
No,
like,
he's I've said this from the start. He's a grafting coach that likes grafters to play for him, but he's got a bunch of luxury players like Odobear.
He said in an interview, Andy, sorry to interrupt, but he said in a recent interview that there's probably guys in my team who don't like me, but I don't care if they give their all on the pitch. That's all I care about. This is a coach who knows he's going to be fired, right? So, which is all the more surprising how they came up with that performance against City. Like, this team is unpredictable. They finished 17th last season and beat us 4 times. So I'm not taking anything for granted.
But that was last season under a different manager. This season, Rishi. I don't know. I'm just gonna live in the land of 2% delusion where winning this means we just
hold on,
climb a little
Shaylin,
higher.
The real question, like we need to really look at the tactics here, which is Richarlison going to score and take off his shirt? Because if he does,
then we're winning.
That bodes well for us, right? If he does, that bodes well for us. So I honestly, like I said in like before you guys all join, I think this is more likely to be a one goal winner for us, right? So like 2-1, 3-2, something like that. Then it is going to be a 1-0, 2-0, 4-0, something like that. I think we're going to concede, guaranteed.
I mean, we're playing at home too, and I don't know if that home advantage is gonna help us quite a bit because like the team is up for. I don't know if you saw like when we were watching the City Tottenham game, their fans in the ground were quiet, like literally the whole time until they actually like went and did something, and then they went to go through it. If that is going to be respective of how their away fans are, like at Old Trafford, then Tottenham are going to come in for a rough time. Like, to be honest, I don't think or to be frank, right? Because then that's the pun. But anyways, but I don't think that's. I don't think it's Rishi's right when he says they're a 45-minute team, and if we beat them in the first half, I think we can continue to see out a result from that. But I mean, like if we crush them in the first half, like if we're up like by 2 goals or by 3 goals, I don't really see how that team even has the mentality to want to come back and fight into the game. They look so bereft of ideas. Like there's no inspiration, right? I felt yeah.
You know what's interesting? I've actually seen Xavi Simons being a little better. I think he's kind of figured out how to play in the Premier League now. He's when he's dribbling on the ball, he doesn't look like a 15-year-old kid anymore. And he actually looks like he's got, he can drop the shoulder, get past some players. And he's a respectable Premier League attacker now, right? So I won't be surprised if he does well tomorrow because I'm saying they're going to score at least 1 or 2 goals.
But
right?
Is Xavi Simons like the Son type of player, where like the Son type of player where he can drag that team to the next level? I don't think he's there yet.
I don't even think Son was that type of player, honestly. It was more Harry Kane that was unlocking some of these players, right? Because Son was a lot better when Harry Kane was playing, right? And Eriksen, some of these other kind of midfielders that they had were the ones that were unlocking the team. So Son is more like you give him one chance, he'll score 1 goal, right? And Xavi Simons is kind of more the connector. He reminds me a little bit of like Mason Mount, but a little bit faster in terms of profile of player when I watch him, right? If Mason Mount is 70 speed on FIFA, this guy's like 85, I think that's the comparison. So
70s being generous to Mount, dude.
What's that?
70s being way too generous to Mount. Come on.
I'm pretty sure his FIFA card, like whenever in the last few years has that kind of pace. I haven't played this year's FIFA, so I don't know what his pace is this year. But anyways, Solanke has scored 2 very nice goals, one of which was an own goal, and Pep Guardiola was crying about it. Which, by the way, Rishi has a hot take about Gehi. Rishi, I hear he's your favorite player.
No, he's second after Mount.
Okay. Yeah, so Rishi thinks Gehi's crap, by the way.
No, I don't think he's crap. I think he's an adequate English top flight centre back. I don't think he's anywhere worth the rumored 400 grand that City are paying for him. I don't think he's worth even 200 grand. I think he's quick, he's tidy, he's terrible in the air. So like England does not have very good centre backs, unfortunately. I think John Stones was the only adequate one, and you could say that Maguire in a back 3 also is right up there. But in a back 4, I guess Gehi with a little bit of pace, some physicality, and he's okay on the ball. He looks very good at Palace because he plays in a back 3. In England, he looks good because international football again is you can't really
You think
assess a
this
player
back two
based on
adjustment is a problem
is
with Gehi's
yeah,
transition?
I think he's going to be found out. You already saw that was like such a terrible attempt at a block he made that a shit
Yeah,
player
that
like
tackle
Solanke was
arrived in
able
2 business
to.
days.
Yeah. I mean, he had already kicked the ball, and then this guy put his tackle in. It was a few frames, but still. Aerially, if you look at him, he's in the 42nd percentile for aerial duels won.
Is this
So
Gehi?
this is Gehi, yeah. This is
Where are
Gehi.
you
He's
getting your stats
5'11".
from since FB Ref has been taken down, bro? Because I
I burned it in my brain, bro. I burned it in my brain. That's what it takes to be a hater.
Yeah. This is some hater central work right here on Twitter. But guys, anyways, so talking about tomorrow's game, I'm looking at the Tottenham team. The players I'm like worried about is Solanke, Simons, and Gallagher. Gallagher did some great work for that second goal. The way he burst past 2 City defenders to kind of get to the wing and put in that cross. I feel like Romero always has a red card. He's always one tackle away from being sent off. And Polinia, I guess, is also a decent defensive player. But honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to put some terror out there to make this more interesting, but I don't see anything with Tottenham that is actually concerning me to that level. Now Nelson's going to be here and say, Xavi Simons masterclass 3-0 win for Tottenham, but Nelson says
he's saying the scary thing is yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. He started Papsar and Bissouma. I'm looking at.
No, wasn't Papsar brought in at halftime?
Also, wasn't Bissouma sold? Did they not sell Bissouma?
He started with Polinia, I remember that much. And it was a 2-man midfield, if I'm not mistaken. And then he brought in Papsar. He took off Romero, I guess, or I forgot who he took off.
Hey, they play with a back three. How come nobody's talking about them not being attacking enough?
They're not important enough, man.
Yeah, not team from Manchester.
Listen, Shaylin, I've closed the door on Voldemort, bro. So you better not take his name.
Hey,
I'm not
Voldemort.
I'm talking about Thomas Frank and his tactics.
Guys, there's something we haven't really realized yet, or we haven't reflected on that starting 11 from the City game, the City Spurs game. Tottenham have I think half the squad is perennially injured. It doesn't matter which half, but half of the squad is perennially injured. I think they had 12 players that they could have chosen from, first teamers. Academy players notwithstanding. So they have a very limited selection they can choose from, and at least one of them is good for an injury during the game. Someone like a Solanke is not the sturdiest oak out there, right? So I think we are not giving enough credit to what we have in terms of if Luke Shaw is playing every single game in the Premier League, and that is the absolute floor of your squad fitness, and he's playing 24 games. It means that we have some really strong players. We have almost everyone available except for De Ligt, who I don't know where the hell De Ligt is, dude. I think the last game he played was against Spurs when he scored that last-minute equalizer. And he's disappeared since then. So other than De Ligt, we have everyone available. I think there should be a cruise, even if it's like a replica of the Fulham game where we are 2-0 up, they score 2-2. We should have 2 more goals in the locker. At the very least, it should be like the Brighton game.
I think you're right. If we can shut down Richarlison in that central position, and whether that's through one of the defenders, whoever's going to play, then I'm a lot less concerned, because then their next top goal scorers are just defenders, right? Richarlison's got 7 goals for them in the league. So I don't really think that the rest of their attacking unit has gotten up to speed or is that big of a threat from that. And they don't have a player like we do in Cunha, where if they get the ball at the edge of the box and they fire, there's a chance that it goes in. At least I don't see it. I haven't seen it consistently enough this season. And then the one that they do have that I was really scared about in Kulusevski, I don't think he's playing, right? He's hurt.
No, he's injured. I think he's out till April.
Yeah, Kulusevski's been injured for a long time.
So if he was in this squad, then I'd probably be a little bit more more nervous, but I don't. Okay, I don't know. Just
Xavi Simons' advocate is in the chat, by the way.
His agent is right here. Nelson, what's up? He needs to collect himself. He's collecting himself while he.
No. Can you hear me now? Sorry. I had the mic on the wrong setting. Look, no, Bissouma played, by the way. Bissouma started, and then he got benched.
He's still there. I think they tried to sell him, and the transfer fell through, or something like that.
His contract ends at the end of the summer. Yeah. My issue is like the fact that Pape Sarr is back. I think Pape Sarr is the best midfielder, and the fact that he's started playing is a problem. He played amazingly against City. Conor Gallagher's garbage. I don't fear Conor Gallagher at all. B-Tech, Mount, don't rate him. So when I look at their squad, my issue is their defense. Like, we've seen twice Van der Ven ran through us. and I don't want to see that again. So Dominic Solanke, let's be honest, the one goal was luck, pure luck. The flick with the back of his heel.
The scorpion kick?
They had the scorpion kick, let's be honest. He didn't
got an assist from Rodri because Rodri kicked his foot and
exactly, yeah. Like I'm not as concerned with Tottenham. The only problem is Tottenham is just one of those teams that one of their players will play well. The question is, we just don't know who it's going to be. Will it be Gallagher? Will it be Xavi Simons? But I think our attack is so much better. And they're not solid in the back. And thank God they didn't fire Frank, because that was my concern. I thought they'd fire Frank and then they would have the manager bounce and we played them.
Would you guys be surprised if, let's say, they lose that the next day or on Monday they announce that he's gone?
Yeah.
No, they won't. I will be surprised, yeah. So I will be surprised.
Yeah, no, the CL form is, I mean, we saw it last year with us as well. We were shit in the league, but we were winning in Europa. So
I think what's going to happen, Shaylin, the problem actually is, and I would be saying this if I was a Tottenham supporter who gave a crap, because Expressions just seems to be yelling and screaming. I don't really see any tactical knowledge explained from him in terms of what's wrong. I don't think this is a Thomas Frank problem. I think this is a squad problem, because you look at their squad, right? They have Kevin Danso, they have Dragushin. They bought a lot of these players that are just like, nothing type of players. And then
they still got Ben Davies, right?
Yeah, they still have Ben Davies, who's still injured. Even Jet Spence is a bit of a nothing player. Like, he thinks he's Neymar playing at right back. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I watch him,
he's valued pretty high apparently. Well,
who, Jet Spence?
Yeah, like 30 billion or something like that.
I mean, that's whatever. That's including.
Yeah, and Dalot was wanted by Carlo Ancelotti a few years back. So what do we know about
Madrid
anything?
still want him, okay? I'm convinced he's moving to Madrid now.
Yeah, so
don't put bad juju out there like that.
So my point being, I think their best players are like Kulusevski, Bentancur, Madison. These guys are always injured. And then Kudus, who they brought this year, was probably their best signing, is also injured. And then they're just all over the place in terms of the squad. And they didn't have a squad suited for Thomas Frank in terms of what he wanted to do. So sacking him doesn't actually get you anything other than resetting the project again. So in my opinion, it's best to just reassess at the end of the season, especially because you at least have the Champions League to hang your hat on. Now, do they make it to the semifinals or something like that? Unlikely, but let's see how far they can get, right? Because they've got guaranteed qualification through the top 8, right? Which means it buys them time till some portion till the end of the season. They're out of the FA Cup and League Cup? They're not in anyways, but are they out of the FA Cup?
I think
yeah, they are. I'm pretty sure they are. I think they're out of all cups outside of the
Champions League.
Yeah, they lost to Villa on 10 Jan.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
If I'm honest, they're far away from the Champions League position for next year, and they're not going to win it. So I don't really understand why keeping Frank as a manager, even though he's doing well in the Champions League.
I think going deeper, Shaylin, I guess the only way it makes sense is the deeper you go in the Champions League, the sweeter the pot is, right? Like the more money you make. I guess that's the only
want to
interest
get
left
back
in there.
in. or at least into some European competition again.
But
Right
there's
now
no
they're
chance.
in
I
14th.
think.
I mean, they could get conference.
How many
league or-
points
or
are they off?
Europa
How
League.
many points are they off 7th or 6th? At least
Like
8 points.
8, I think. Yeah.
8
They're
points.
they're
Yeah, so-
29th. They're on 29 points right now, and Brentford on 7th is on 36. So they're 7
Yeah.
points away.
And so is
Yeah,
Sunderland.
that's-
Sunderland's at 36.
That's easy to cap. That's easy. With 14 games left, you can
Yeah, so
definitely
if you
make
get
that.
a new,
Yeah.
if you
my-
get a new
my
manager,
point
But
is
you
actually-
here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I've been thinking about this since Andy mentioned it earlier on in the show as to why Frank is still there. I think new manager bounce, right, as a concept is kind of dead, because the last guy I remember getting a new manager bounce is Antonio Conte with Tottenham with the same team. Right, that was in November of 2021 when there were rumors that we would be sacking Oli and they were going to sack Nuno, and Oli won El Sacico. And because of that, Nuno Espirito Santo was sacked first, and they moved fast and they hired Conte, and then they, from a terrible position, they managed to finish in 4th in that season. So he was the last guy. Just before him, it was Tuchel who won the previous season. He won the Champions League with Chelsea, and the season before that, Hansi Flick won the Champions League with Bayern. So that was the 2-year stretch in which the whole new manager bounce and mid-season replacement thing kind of wore off. I don't remember any other manager since then who has come in and had a significant impact. Right? If we had managed to win the Europa League last year, then Amorim would have been that coach, the last guy to have come in and won something big. But that didn't happen. So I think they've taken a calculated decision to not sack Frank, because they've made the bed, now they have to sleep in it, and let's just ride this train as far as it goes. And every round that you clear, I think that's at least 20 million pounds added to your Champions League earning. So even if they go from round of 16 to, say, because they're 4th in the table, so they'll get a pretty weak team now, right?
Also,
If they manage
to make your point as well, they are better off if they really want to sack him to the point where it's like truly untenable. It's better off sacking him after whenever they get eliminated from the Champions League, because that additional money will just offset whatever they'll have to pay him and his coaching staff. But I don't think they're going to sack him, because they're as likely to make up that 7-point gap as with him as they are without him, because his tactics aren't some like, oh, he's only going to play 3 at the back. He's only playing a system football. He's, leaving these players out. He's doing whatever he can to win every game, and it's still not happening. Right. So that tells me you have to look beyond the coach to fix that problem. Now, this is a long shot, but when I look at us not winning the UEL last year, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to us, because we went so negative and through so many problems because of that we were forced to face our fears, right? We were forced to course correct and deal with the problem than just kind of kick the can down the road, which is what Tottenham did, right? They signed so many like 50, 60 million players that are like neither here nor there. One of them hopefully works out, and their transfer strategy doesn't make sense. The coach they hired doesn't make sense, compared to Ange Postecoglou to now. So I don't think sacking Frank actually solves anything for them.
I think it does. I think they have a very attacking team, and they chose a defensive coach. That's the issue. This team was technically built for like an Ange Postecoglou type. Ange was just crazy. He just went insane on the attacking side, and they did the reverse. Oh, we took a really attacking coach. Let's go to a super conservative one. I think the only reason they don't fire him is the summer. The number of good coaches available in the summer is ridiculous. But if you tell me that you have Glasner, let's be honest, Glasner would leave right now for Tottenham. I genuinely believe it. Glasner knows the squad he's left with is so mediocre. There's only now like one. Has Mateta gone, or is it still there?
No,
it's still there. The medical, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So, but I think he knows like it's almost time, and he did say he's done at the end of the season. I think a lot of clubs now would rather wait for the summer, just because you go one good move and you've got an elite coach. And Tottenham have always had decent coaches. Let's be fair. They had Jose. They had They had Poch.
No,
I like
but
Poch.
Nelson, they always went from like confused strategy to confused strategy. Because after Pochettino, who did they hire right after Pochettino?
Was it not Jose? It was Jose.
Jose, yeah.
Yeah, it was Jose.
Okay,
after.
it was Jose, then it was Conte, then it was back to Nuno, who's like a Jose type coach. Then they sacked him to hire Ange, who's completely different, and now they went back to hire Thomas Frank, right? The point I'm trying to make is there isn't some big strategy that he's getting wrong necessarily, right? Look at how many injuries they have, dude. They have 10 injuries right now, right? So I agree with you. They have attacking players, but it's not like Thomas Frank is not allowing them to attack. There's just no. It's a very scatterbrain type of team. Like they don't really have a solid 11 they can put out every week and just say, go do your thing.
Andy, the impression I get is that the first half, Frank sets up a team. The players don't like the way they're set up.
Exactly.
They go out there, and because they don't have the belief in the setup, they don't perform well enough. And then at halftime, Frank is like, okay, I'm done. You guys, I'm going to simplify things. You guys go out there and do the best. And the players play with more freedom. Whatever form you're seeing with Xavi Simons is also in the second half of that City game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
in the first half, they did
consistently
nothing.
been happening with Spurs.
Yeah. No, he's super conservative. I watch expressions too. You, Abby, the on DR Sports. Whenever you watch them, every single one of them have said the drop in attacking impetus is like zero now. They only attack once they go down. That's the only time they start attacking. So to me, that's my biggest fear, is that we need to kill them off first half. If we let them start playing in the second half, I was thinking about it. Udogi's like a really good left back with pace. And we've noticed that our right side, they get tired a lot. With Ahmad has played a shit ton of games, to be fair. So, and Bouma also gets tired. If our players are getting tired and they're quick players, Kolomwani, all these guys, they start attacking over and over again, I can see another draw come up. I don't see them winning, but I can definitely see them clutching like a shit draw. And we end up going, how the hell do we draw that game?
Here's the thing, Nelson, though. Like, I think we'd all agree that United play their best, whether it was under Amorim or under Carrick, if we score early, right? Scoring early is good for us. In the Fulham game, we saw almost the perfect template. We were 2-0 up till 70th minute or something whenever they scored. The problem in the Premier League now is a 2-0 win is not enough. Like, you need to play at the exact same intensity from minute 1 to minute 90 if you want to keep a clean sheet. Every team will figure out a way to come back and score goals. And we saw this exact thing against Tottenham the first time we played them, because 84th minute, Richarlison gets a goal, or Tell gets a goal, and then Richarlison scores in the next 6 minutes or something like that. So that's the problem. It's almost like the best thing for us is the best thing for them as well, right? Like you said, unless they go down, they're not going to come back up, and we're not good enough yet to kind of score 4 goals in the first half. I don't think anyone here necessarily thinks we're going to do that. So we'll see. I think it really depends. We have to be solid in our box defending tomorrow, because after we go 1 or 2-0 up, which I expect us to do, like you guys are all saying as well, I think we're going to be good in the first half. We're going to go up 1 or 2 goals, but they have enough in them in terms of Van de Ven, Romero, Palhinha. They have enough headers of the ball as well.
But so we're clear, Van de Ven and Romero were injured. They were injured. They just passed fit for this game. So we're talking about a team. Like what Rishi said, I rate Gehi, but I actually still agree with him that City's defense isn't that good. So if you can get your attacking players in and you pin them back a little bit, you will score. So I think we can score 2, maybe 3. I don't think they have that attacking like fire. My issue is just their midfield, because I really like their midfielders. I like Papsar. I like Beckveld's injured, so that doesn't matter. But Conor Gallagher could do something. He seems like a player who can eventually make something up. And my issue is just Casemiro seems to get tired at the 70th minute. That's my concern. And in this game, this is going to be a hard running game. We're going to be running a lot the entire game. That's the only thing that I worry about.
Why do you think?
I'm
Why do you
surprised.
think we're going to be running so much, like for the entire game? Like they're not that pressing of a team, are they? Or
no, because when they'll try. This is going to be they'll try and trap us, and then it's going to be Kolomwani. It's going to be Matas Tel if he's playing. Xavi Simons isn't rapid, but you have Udogi on that left side, so there'll be constantly hard runs. So you're going to have to either we're cutting passing lanes or you're chasing these people. And I think the first half is going to be kind of like Fulham's first half, where it's going to be back and forth. And then the second half, once our players get tired, then you'll see. I think they have a decent bench, honestly.
No, I don't even think it's going to be back and forth in the sense that it's at Old Trafford. So we can't just sit back and give them the ball, right? We're gonna
have space.
They're gonna sit back and give us some space. The only thing is, what I worry about is again our box defending, because even if we have been better with the compact style that Carrick's been playing, the concern is still there in terms of the deflected goals and all those crap goals that we've seen us score that come out of nowhere, even though we're dominating the game. So I think for me, this is a 3-2. So I want to hear from you guys in terms of your score predictions. Shaylin.
I mean, I gotta hop off anyway, so I'll be quick with it. I think we definitely score 4 goals. We're gonna win 4-0. Mason Mount's gonna get a hat trick because Rishi came in with the hate already, so that's gonna be out in the air. Mount heard it. He's gonna fire him up. He's like, this guy's already yelling at me.
This has got to be his FIFA game, right? Because he's injured.
He's
injured, right? Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
All right, whatever. Anyways, forget that. Okay.
Big surprise. Oh, big surprise. Mount is injured. Oh, what a surprise.
His hips aren't as, maybe he should do yoga because, you got that hip problem. Right, Rishi?
Yeah.
No, it's his pelvis, dude. It's his pelvis.
Yeah. But
that's also a yoga problem, though. Anyways.
I take that back. We're scoring 7 goals. We're going to get a Benjamin Šeško hat trick. We're going to get a Mateusz Cunha hat trick. And then the last goal is going to be like some crazy banger of an own goal from Richarlison into
No own goals, because all 7 goals will be assisted by Bruno, and he's one goal away from. He's one assist away from the record. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Richard in the chat happy. Richard in the chat for the whole stream has been saying, "I don't care what happens, but Bruno gets hat trick of assists."
Yes. Richard is likely playing him in fantasy or has him like a bet on him getting hat trick of assists. Yeah. So let's pray for Richard. Okay.
Yes.
This actually happens. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Shaylin. Ash, your prediction.
I think 3-1. Could just as well be 3-2. I think it comes down to basically, I agree with Nelson how long Casemiro can hold on, because without him, there is kind of a breakdown in the defense. And 2, it comes down to how well we react to going down, because we saw with Fulham that there was the 10-minute window in which we conceded 2 goals straight up, and this is a pattern that, like you said, Andy, it has repeated more often than not. That
not just for us throughout the season. Rishi also made this observation. We were talking offline that we're going to see a lot more 3-2 games this season across the Premier League, and for me, that's not really surprising because of how close things are. So, what did you say your scoreline was?
I say 3-1, but it could just as well be 3-2. I say 3-1 because I don't see an attacking threat from Spurs. But I will most likely get egg on my face tomorrow at this time. So
fair enough. Nelson?
I think 4-2. I can see a 4-2. Xavi Simons, 1 goal. And I think we just have more quality right now. Their squad is nowhere near what we have. And that's including if they start the first teamers. I still think we're better. So
who's scoring the Spurs goals?
I said Xavi 1. One of those crazy shots that he actually makes sometimes. And then probably, Solanke. Let's give Solanke so that England ends up picking him. So he can shit the bed for the World Cup.
All right. Rishi?
I think, first of all, this whole idea that we've become more compact, right? It's not true throughout the 90 minutes. Like against Fulham, we saw that there was huge spaces between midfield and the defensive line. Maguire and Lisandro are not going to play the entire game at the halfway line, right? And once we try to attack with the ball, we are going to be committing men forward. There's going to be huge gaps. It's going to be tight, but I think we have too much individual quality to lose this game or even draw. I think it's going to be a win, and I think it's going to be the Brighton game sort of a result, not the FA Cup game, but the game earlier in the season that we won 4-2. We're going to be coasting 3-0, and they might come back with a couple of goals, but I don't care because we'll have enough quality to score again in like the 90th minute or stoppage time or whatever. It'll probably be something like a 4-2.
Okay. And so who are the goal scorers? I'm gonna go through some of these players. Okay, is Mbeumo scoring tomorrow? Can we get a yes or no from Ash, Nelson, Rishi?
I think he's due a goal.
Yeah.
He'll be looking at Cunha and Sesko getting goals, and he'll be thinking, I need to stick one in there as well.
Can we, Andy? Do we have time to quickly go through like the starting 11? I don't know if you went through it in the beginning.
Yeah, I did. I did already, but I can put it up on screen here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
for me, it's going to be an unchanged. It's going to be an unchanged starting 11 for me. I don't think Šeško starts.
And
He
Mbeumo at
comes off
9.
the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
This is
Yeah.
Don't touch it if
Okay.
it's not broken is the philosophy, I think.
Yeah.
So for me, I think we've all predicted at least 3 goals. For me, it's going to be Mbeumo, Bruno, and Ahmad who are going to score. I think Cunha gets an assist in this game because Ahmad's due for one. He hasn't scored one in a while. I also think Bruno gets 2 assists again because in this, like, this is the type of football that he thrives in, right? That, by the way, guys, I don't know if you saw the recent episode of The Overlap with Paul Merson, and everybody was talking about, as a number 10, you have to try making things happen. Don't be afraid of giving away the ball. And these are the same idiots that kept criticizing Bruno Fernandes for 5 years while he kept giving the ball away, saying he gives the ball away too much. These are the people that get the money from Sky Sports, and Jim Ratcliffe listens to, by the way. So next time you think Gary Neville's making any sense, just look at where his words are coming from, because it's not from his mouth.
But Paul Merson was always an idiot. Even at Sky, he was always an idiot.
No, but I'm just saying, this is the quality of analysis we've been digesting for years and years, bro. This is one of the biggest reasons I started this channel in the first place, because I was like, bro, I can do better than that.
No one makes a peep about the fact. No one makes a peep about the fact that Bruno's passing stats. He makes 79% of all his passes, and De Bruyne made 80% of all his passes. There was just 1% difference between the greatest playmaker supposedly and Bruno Fernandes. So for all the talk about giving the ball away too much, come on, man, it's his job. That's the profile. That's the role.
I may add that Bruno is passing to a shitter average player than KDB.
100%, bro. That was the point I was trying to make. I had this conversation with Rishi. I had this conversation with Rishi, and like, the average fan will never agree with me, but I would take Bruno over KDB.
Hell no!
Hold on,
No way!
I'll tell you why. Exactly why. I think KDB, in terms of the eye test, right? Like the way he struck the ball and everything was far better than Bruno. Bruno is like, I don't know, like not as pleasing on the eye in terms of how he plays, but effectiveness and most importantly, availability. KDB was injured for so long throughout his career, and he was able to make it work because he was playing for the best team with the best players throughout his entire prime. Whereas Bruno has played with arguably one of the worst teams in terms of the top 6 type of temes that you're going with. So,
I love Bruno, boys. I'm with you guys on the Bruno love, but there's some players you just ignore. There's some players who are better than him, and KDB was one of them. I just
bro, but he didn't play enough games. That's my point. I'm saying that last thing about him not being available for half the games of the season.
Okay, that's valid. That's a valid
over
point.
KDB for me. That's the thing, because the impact he's going to give you is far greater in terms of Bruno. And also, I'm not just taking some bum off the street to compare to KDB, right? Like, this guy has genuinely, objectively created more chances than KDB in the same time with a way more shit team. Imagine Bruno with Haaland, bro. Like, how many assists would he have? Yeah. Right. Anyways, on that note, guys, we'll end it here.
just to close, Andy,
we'll see you guys at 7:30 a.m. Okay. What is it, Ash?
Sean says in the YouTube chat, you could put me in Pep's midfield and I'd look like Yaya.
I think I think we'd have to make some edits there. Maybe Gemini can help you with that. Whoever wants to imagine what Sean looks like as Yaya Toure, AI can make it happen for you guys. Anyways, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be there for the watch along. I may or may not do another video today. We'll see. I did get up at 3 a.m. because #jet lag. So we'll see how much energy I have. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. AUN, Raphael, Clippy, you guys were waiting in the background. Get you on tomorrow. Apologies for that. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.